Good evening, and welcome back to Caps 13 weather. We've had a pretty calm, dead week. I guess the weather took the hint that we're too stressed out for craziness. With little to no activity outside, it's felt more like fall in December than it did in the fall months. However, we are going to be getting some very weird and heavily varying temperatures through the next week. All that and more coming up.
Coming up on Caps 13 News, the Timmons Chapel hosts a classical concert by some Pitt State students. Plus, winter break is fast approaching. We'll have details on how to prepare. And Pitt State is showing its love for staff. We'll take you to the event. All that and more on Caps 13 News.
Welcome to Caps 13. I'm Jackson Mielman.
And I'm Libby Frazier.
The music department hosted a holiday concert in Timmons Chapel on Wednesday with performances by student and faculty. Holiday songs and classical songs were performed by different soloists and groups at this event. There were musicians representing all areas of music departments such as orchestra, band, and choir. The evening ended with everyone standing and singing Silent Night, and it came upon the midnight clear. The event was organized by oboe instructor Dr. David Hurley, who was excited to be at this unique event.
I guess hearing the pieces in that small space, it's like hearing something in a European chapel that's been transplanted over here. So the spirit in the place is very warm and welcoming, and I think people enjoy that.
Congratulations to all those graduating from Pittsburg State this winter. Here's some information you need to know to not miss on your day. Winter commencement will be held on Friday, December 13th at the Garfield W. Weed Building. The ceremony for the College of Arts and Sciences and Kels Colleges of Business will start at 5 p.m. The College of Education and College of Technology ceremony will begin at 8 p.m. All of the ceremonies will be live streamed online at pittstate.tv.
Dining Hall has some special treats to end the semester and welcome the holidays. Dining Hall will have late night breakfast Monday, December 9th, starting at 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. On Tuesday, December 10th, Gibson Hall will have a make-your-own quesadilla bar during lunch hours. Grillo Crossing also added some limited-time offered items to their menus, such as slow-smoked sliced turkey breast at the barbecue pit and smokehouse brisket and cheddar subs available at Sub Connection. They will feature a different soup each day for the last 2 weeks of the semester. To end the semester, Axe Grime will close Friday, December 13th at noon, and Gibson, Gorilla Crossing, and U Club will also close that Friday at 2 p.m. Gibson Hall will reopen Tuesday, January 21st at 11 a.m. All other locations reopen Wednesday, January 22nd for normal hours.
Winter break 2019 is coming up, ending the semester and giving the students and faculty a nice break. The university will close on Saturday, December 14th. The residence halls will also close, although students are allowed to live on campus for an additional fee. Pitt State will reopen on Tuesday, January 21st, 2020, the day after Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Classes will resume that day for the spring 2020 semester. Engineering student J.B. Rutherford described what he's looking forward to over the break, as well as what he hopes to accomplish.
As soon as I'm done with the finals, I am moving down to Lake of the Ozarks, and I will be doing maintenance-related tasks in the camp I worked at during summer. So some upkeep stuff, maybe some mild renovation of some of our facilities. As soon as I graduate, I'm hopefully going to work there full-time.
Coming up on Caps 13 News, an event on campus is celebrating the cultures of the international students on campus.
Live from the White Sit Hall studios on the campus of Pittsburg State University in Pittsburg, Kansas, you're watching Caps 13 News at 4.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us.
Live
all of us.
From the White Sit Hall studios on
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Hey Gorilla Nation, this is Stu Height, Chief of Police here at Pittsburg State. Hope you're off to a great semester, and we want to just give you a couple of reminders of how to take care of your valuables. Please don't ever leave them unattended for any length of time at all. We live on a very safe campus and a very safe community, but you can never be too safe. So if you ever need anything, if you have any questions, any concerns about anything ranging from parking or just safety and security, please feel free to call us anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go Gorillas!
What? This week, PSU Alumni and Constituent Relations hosted Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day in the upper level of the Wilkinson Alumni Center. This is the 6th straight Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day that's been hosted at Pitt. Faculty and staff were able to stop by and enjoy holiday treats, apple cider, and a coffee bar while visiting with their coworkers. They were also able to enter for a chance to win PSU prizes and even skybox tickets for the 2020 football season.
The Taste of Sounds, an annual event by ISA, took place on Friday before the Thanksgiving break. The event took place at Grubbs Hall with the participation of all the international associations, including the Brazilian, Paraguayan, and the African food from all over the world was served, free of charge for anybody who attended. American food was also served for the first time this year. The International Student Association was in charge of the event, which was extremely successful and showed a part of the culture from every country that participated through their food. Carmina Gonzalez, an international student, talks more about the event.
The Taste and Sounds of this year. It was a remarkable event. All the students got the chance to try different dishes from different countries. And with the ones that I really liked the most were the spicy ones from Korea, that they had this rice cake, spicy rice cake, and also India with the chicken. And also desserts from countries like continents like Africa and France.
Pitt State also played host to the Taste and Sounds performances from the international students. The performances took place at the Student Center this time in an event that lasted around 2 hours. There was different types of dancing, singing, and also presentations from some of the countries represented were China, Pakistan, Paraguay, Taiwan. It was a fun experience and let the international students at Pittsburg State share and show a part of their culture to people from other places.
My name is Pilar Salcedo, and I was one of the performers at the Taste and Sounds night, and I was representing Paraguay. And I think so it's great what ISA did that night, that pulled all the performers together, like songs and dances from students that came from all over the world, to show Americans and other people how different cultures are. And also, I think so it is great to represent your country. It doesn't matter where you are.
Nate and Bailey are after this break. They're reviewing Knives Out and The Irishman. Stick with us.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for coming to help me study for this test. It's going to be a real tough one here, I can guarantee it. So,
guys, I'm kind of hungry, and it is Tuesday. Couldn't we get some tacos?
Tacos? I hate Mexican food. Why don't we try something a little less bold? Like subs.
Subs? That's literally the worst idea you've ever thought of. Have you ever thought about pizza maybe? How about something better than that?
Pizza is gonna take like half an hour. Are you kidding me? Obviously, we all know that barbecue is the move.
Guys, hey, guys, guys! Let's check out Gorilla Crossing. I mean, Gorilla Crossing has hand-wrapped burritos and hot and ready pizzas and pastas, custom-crafted subs, and savory Kansas City barbecue. Wait, where'd everybody go?
Head on over to Gorilla Crossing for a variety of food options at student-friendly prices. And download the Gorilla Dining app for daily specials.
Hello. Some people like to watch too much TV or get on the computer too much. And other people look at their phone way too long. And other people, they like to do drugs. But some people, they're invested in the more important things in life, like reading a good family-friendly book by yourself or with your family. But either way, don't do those bad things that I mentioned earlier and read a book.
My name is Carly, I'm 15 years old and I am a heart recipient. I got my first heart transplant when I was 1.5 years old. I got my second heart when I was 13. When I step out on stage, I think I'm communicating with people. I would like to tell them that I want to make a change in life. Like, yeah, you can have 2 heart transplants, but that doesn't stop you from doing the things that you love. When I get my driver's license, of course I'm going to say yes to be an organ donor because I've been saved twice. So who says I can't save somebody else? It's just the beginning of a new story.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
This is a twisted web. This Thanksgiving, tell me everything. Gather the whole family for a killer good time. What's that supposed to mean? It's one of the year's absolute best films.
You guys fans?
Oh, yes. Knives Out. Rated PG-13.
Knives Out was directed by Ryan Johnson and stars Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Christopher Plummer, and many other A-list actors in a modern whodunit. When a crime novelist dies after his 85th birthday, a private detective arrives at his estate to investigate. He soon sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind the writer's demise. Welcome to Caps 13 Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Nate Vanderpool, and alongside me is my co-host, Bailey Nolan. So, me and Bailey had the chance to see two movies this last weekend, and we saw Knives Out. Bailey, what'd you think of Knives Out?
Knives Out was actually very good. I got to see it in theaters on Thanksgiving night, which was actually a really cool experience. It was, one of those classic murder mystery movies, and I haven't seen many of those.
No,
but
because they don't make anymore.
No, they don't.
It feels like. Yeah.
But it's a great comeback with that, and I think it was a really, really good movie.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson really directed the heck out of this movie, honestly. Like, I could see this being a modern classic murder mystery.
This movie had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. It had me thinking about what was happening, what was going to happen next, and trying to think of all the stuff that happened prior in the movie.
It kept you guessing.
It kept me guessing, and some things I was right, but most things I was wrong, and I think that's a thing that everyone will experience if they go watch this movie.
It was fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie, but I had one certain flaw, and the only flaw that I really had with it was I felt like the director of this movie, Ryan Johnson, maybe thought that it was a little more clever than what he thought.
Yeah.
It was a very clever movie, but where there were a few twists and turns where I was just like, all right, did you really need to have that? Like,
yeah.
It kind of just seemed like it was just there just to, have even more surprise.
Yeah.
But it really didn't need, really didn't need to be anymore.
Going off of that, there were some parts in the movie that were kind of cheesy. I wouldn't say cheesy, but
it was good cheese.
It was good cheesy. Like there's some, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a part in the movie where they go somewhere, and you're just like, why are you there? Why are you doing this? And then they kind of get into this whole situation. It's like, well, you could have avoided that if you're realistically not in this situation. But it adds to the value of the movie. I can see how it goes. But it makes no sense if you haven't seen that. So go ahead and go see this movie.
Yeah. So with Knives Out, what would you rate this movie out of 10?
I'd give this about an 8.3, 8.4.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff to take into account with this movie. I mean, the story behind it, there's so many things you have to connect the dots with when you're creating this, and to keep it, keep all the continuity in check and everything. It's just...
Yeah, I give it about probably a solid 8.0. Like, this is a fun, exciting movie that I feel like everybody should see in the theaters. It's a good time, but I think it has its flaws. But for a murder mystery and whodunit, this is, like I said, it probably will be a modern classic, and people will revisit this movie from years to come.
Yep.
Only 3 people in the world have one of these, and only one of them is Irish. Do you know how strong I made you?
The Irishman was directed by Martin Scorsese and stars Hollywood icons Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino, and is the story about a hitman who recalls his life in the mob and the possible involvement with the murder of Jimmy Hoffa. Other than Knives Out, me and Bailey also had the opportunity to see Martin Scorsese's new film, The Irishman, which is now available on Netflix. So, Bailey, what did you think of this movie?
The Irishman, I was actually blown away. I mean, of course, it's going to be a great movie. It's a Scorsese film. It's another timepiece.
Yeah.
It's another mob movie, which he is excellent.
It's return to form, honestly. Like this, I mean, I know you haven't seen the movie Goodfellas, which you got to see it. It's a classic, but this is basically how I would describe the anti-Goodfellas. Goodfellas is really a movie about, the exotic life of a gangster and just the mob and all that. But The Irishman, this is a very bleak movie. And we follow Robert De Niro's character, Frank Sheeran, throughout this entire film, from World War II up until, the 60s and 70s. But Martin Scorsese, amazing in this movie. Every actor in this movie is amazing. Honestly, I think that they should all be nominated for Oscars.
This just shows how legendary these people are on screen. The chemistry between each one of these characters, when either two of them are on screen, three of them are on screen, or just one of them, it keeps you locked in, and it reminds you of the times back in the 60s and 70s and 80s when they used to team up and make these movies. It was just it hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah, I think this might be in my top 5 of Martin Scorsese films. I don't know. I just love this movie. Honestly, I can't even think of one particular flaw besides the runtime.
Yes.
The
definitely.
Runtime, a 3.5-hour movie, that's long. That's asking a lot for anybody to sit down and have your full attention, onto the film.
Yeah.
But I think this is a movie that everybody should see. This is just a fantastic movie. And the final shot, actually, I would say this, the final hour of the movie is gripping. I was on the edge of my seat. It's all due to the story, the direction, and the performances by the actors.
I think with this one, it's with a lot of Scorsese films, it's more focused on the story. This one is more of a chamber piece. Yeah. It's about a true story.
Yeah.
And I think you have to take a lot into account when you're doing something like that. And I think that for Scorsese to do something like this and knock it out of the park the way he did, it just shows how great he is and how involved he is with this kind of storytelling.
What would you give this movie out of 10?
That's a tough one. Probably give it about a 8.7.
Really? Oh, okay, yeah, we are
just talking about runtime and
okay. I totally see where you're coming from then, but for me this is a 9.5. I
really?
think that this is a Best Picture nominee for me personally. I think it'll get nominated for the Oscar for sure. It's a great movie though, and it's available on Netflix. So if you have Netflix,
which everybody does.
Yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't be watching this movie. But that takes up our time here at Caps 13 Movie Reviews. Be sure to tune in on our next episode, and me and Bailey break down our top 5 films of 2019. Libby with weather after this.
Well, the semester is coming to a close and the weather has taken the hint. As students head to the library and study for finals and look forward to the 5.5-week break, it's nice to know that there's no need to worry about what's happening outside. With temperatures hitting the 50s and 60s, it seems winter has decided to come later than usual, and honestly, we should be thankful. It seems as though we are really in the clear when it comes to storms in the forecast. The only chance was today, and it was only a measly 30% chance of even a tiny bit of rain. However, here's the wonky temperatures I mentioned earlier. We have a lot of temperatures in the mid to high 50s, but then next Tuesday, we're going to be all the way down in the mid 30s, and all next week we have lows in the 20s. So it's going to be a cold start to finals week, but we've definitely had colder. However, we're going to have a really nice weekend, which will be a good break before we have to hit the ground running with exams. So make sure you're relaxing in the midst of studying and staying warm as well. We haven't had any storm activity at all recently, but we still have some ground clutter, but that's a constant thing when it comes to weather, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. Like I said, we've really lucked out this week with how calm the weather has been. I mean, We really don't even see any fast-moving wind until later on in the day, and even then, it doesn't last long at all. Since our rain radar didn't show literally anything, that's all I have for you today. Like I've been saying, it's been an incredibly slow and calm week, which bodes really well for us. There's been no craziness. However, if you experienced the wind over the weekend, then yes, that was insane. Us and Kansas City were getting 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So hopefully no one lost anything from their backyard. Don't worry, we aren't supposed to have anything like that happen for a very long time. We will see you back here next week, but until then, this has been a look at your weather. Sports with Jared is coming right up, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
I'm always the first one up. I'm always up for a challenge. I'll overcome any obstacle. I don't believe in limits. I refuse to be average.
Slow down. Check your surroundings, put down your phone, and be sure to use caution when using the crosswalk. 5,000 people are killed every year on the road, and someone is getting injured every 7 minutes. Drivers are just as much at fault when it comes to accidents. Be alert at intersections, and keep your foot on the brake in busy public places. Don't let your community be a part of the rising statistics.
Welcome back. Pitt State and Carney Smith Stadium are playing host to Mississippi Gulf Coast and Lackawanna as they compete for the National Junior College Football Championship. Both schools attended a press conference yesterday at Memorial Hall.
Proud of our coaching staff, proud of our players. And the thing that I can say, we've got 3 guys sitting here that represent our program extremely well. They're great kids, but we have a whole roster full of great young men.
You know, it's really not. I think, defensive football is something that you can hold on to people as you're going along. And, some games are high scoring, some are not. But if you always got guys that can keep them out of the end zone, you always have a chance. And this defense is very opportunistic. We lead the country in interceptions this year. And just make big play after big play, to keep us in it. So we make the field short for our offense and hopefully long for theirs.
Pitt State started conference play on Tuesday. They opened up with a tough road matchup in Missouri Southern. The Lions would defeat the Gorillas comfortably by a score of 95-64. Missouri Southern had a balanced attack with 4 players in double figures, with Cam Martin leading the way with 23 points and 17 rebounds. A bright spot for Pittsburg State was Marcel Cherry, who would lead the way with 30 points. The Gorillas will look to bounce back tonight at 7:30, where they play Washburn at home. The Pitt State women's basketball team also faced Missouri Southern last night. The result would be a lot different as the Gorillas defeated the Lions 68-49. Kaylee DeMitz would lead the way for Pittsburg State with 18 points. Athena Alvarado also pitched in with 14 points in the game, leading 12 rebounds. Chastity Owens would lead Missouri Southern with 18 points on the night, as she was the only Lion in double figures. The win would improve the Gorillas to 3-3 on the season. They will look to build on the victory this evening as they face Washburn, also at 5:30, in the friendly confines of John Lance Arena. Pittsburg State point guard A.J. Walker has gone through a lot just to play college basketball. He has continued to be strong time and time again. Currently, he has to sit out the whole first semester because the NCAA stated he only had 1 semester left of eligibility. Here is a snippet of the interview I had with A.J. about his current situation and the other obstacles he's had to overcome. A.J. Walker has dealt with a lot, from not even making the basketball team his junior year of high school, to dropping out of college after his freshman year, to his current situation being deemed ineligible to play basketball by the NCAA for his first semester.
My life was kind of different. It started with high school, yeah.
I played baseball my whole 4 years of high school, but when it came to basketball, by me being like one of the shortest guys on the team or one of the shortest guys in the school, at the time I never really got the chance I never got the trust. I got the chance, but I never really got the trust to be myself, and it just took away the fun away from basketball, so I just stopped playing.
Despite these setbacks, he has remained resilient and continued to persevere.
Then that's when I came across a mentor who actually helped me turn my life around. His name was Ace Kennedy. He's a coach at Grandview Christian High School in Kansas City, Missouri, and he helped me get back in school. He had host open gym workouts. He had coaches come watch us play. He had started making me film from those workouts and sent them to a lot of coaches. And then that's how I ended up at Little Priest Tribal College.
He'll be back on the court in 3 weeks. And to say he's ready for his return would be an understatement.
That's all you think about. That's all I think about. I have a countdown on my phone. That's all I think about. Is every day I wake up, I think about, oh man, I'm a day closer to December 18th. I'm a day closer. Then as the time, it's like, it's really almost here. And it's like, I'm mentally prepared, I'm physically prepared.
Jared Bush, Caps 13 News. Rugby is just one of the many club sports students can try at Pitt State. Pittsburg State's rugby team has a women's team as well as a men's team. There is no experience required for students to be a part of the team. Each year, the rugby team has approximately 40 club members. There are 2 types of rugby played at Pitt State. There is the 15-player rugby and the sevens rugby. Pitt State rugby allows students to travel to different schools and play different opponents and potentially play for the Division II championship.
The club was originally created in 1972. We are actually one of the oldest clubs on campus. We've had success and some failures. It's one of those things that it kind of depends on how many people come out. We have a lot of guys on campus can make a difference as well. So we've had some ups and downs. We've been on an up the past couple of years now. My sophomore year, we won our conference. We made it all the way to the Sweet 16. We got our butts handed to us by the #1 team in the nation, but they rolled up in a charter bus. We had 3 15-passenger vans that we had people sign off for. So it was kind of one of those cool experiences to be a part of. This season, we ended up being conference runners-up, which is kind of those bittersweet things, but our competition was really good. We lost to Missouri S&T, who's currently going for the Final Four in D2. So it's one of those where it stinks that we lost, but we lost to a really good team. The club was
Pittsburg State women's basketball is off to a good start this season with a 1-0 conference record. Tristan Gegg is leading the Gorillas in points this season, averaging 22 points a game. The Gorillas will hopefully continue their winning streak tonight against Washburn at John Lance Arena. Pittsburg State's men's basketball team is off to a rocky start, losing their first conference game. Marcel Cherry is leading the Gorillas in points this season, averaging 13 points a game. The Gorillas will take on Washburn tonight to try to improve their record to 1-1 at John Lance Arena. Jackson and Libby will be right back with the news.
That's it for this week's edition of Caps 13 News. I'm Jackson Mielman.
And I'm Libby Frazier. Have a great night, everybody.